Happy Friday, everybody. First off, thanks to everyone who has watched the video, who has shared it with others, who has commented, has liked it. It just warms my heart. I'm so humbled. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I have loved seeing all of your creations. You're doing an amazing job, so please keep sharing your bags with the group. Yesterday, I tried something a little different, and instead of making a bag like this with sort of the heavier linen, I used this as the insert, and this is a vintage hanky, and they're very thin. So I thought I would do a really quick video to show you the changes I had to make to use this linen in a bag rather than a vintage tablecloth. So I'll show you some tips and tricks, and then you can use practically any linen to create a beautiful zipper bag. All right, well, let me show you how I solved a couple of challenges with working with thin linens and hankies in particular. Okay, to deal with the thinness, I used some featherweight interfacing and ironed it on the back and kept it within the hem of the hanky. The second challenge was the hem is kind of fraying, so I couldn't just applique it on top of another piece of fabric. It just wouldn't look right. The other challenge was it is not quite square. So if I were to treat this like a border on a quilt, you know, I'd put it like this and I'd sew my 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch seam allowance and turn it. Likely it's going to be wonky because the piece is wonky. So here's what we're going to do. So I lined it up on the grid of my cutting mat, used a little tape because it'll slide around. I cut 2-inch strips and I folded it over a 1/4 inch. And then I put it along the side here. And instead of lining it up with the hanky, I lined it up with the grid, making sure that, so here I don't have enough space, so I'm gonna have to move it over a little, that it's gonna catch the hanky. So in this case, I think we can do this 1/8 inch line here, and then I pinned it. So we'll pin it all the way down, and you know, you can futz with it a little bit and to make sure it's gonna work. I adjusted it a few times. And what's great about this particular handkerchief is that the little teal frame around it is not like a perfectly straight line, so that if only a little bit shows, we're not going to run into any problems. Okay, now I'm going to get my tape again. Just make sure that I've got this straight. I've got this one is good here. I need to move this over just a tad. Okay. All right. Of course, when you're videotaping it, it moves all around. There's like some rule about making videos that the fabric knows not to cooperate. The only negative part of doing it this way is we're going to lose our title down at the bottom, but I just couldn't figure out another way to do it. So if somebody else comes up with a better way, please, please, please share. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to match it up with one of the tick marks here. I'm going to pin it. There we go. Now, instead of trying to do a seam, because it's going to be a little difficult, I'm just going to top stitch this. So that is all you're going to have to do, is top stitch it. Then we bring it back and we're going to do the exact same thing. And then you've got it. Then you can trim it up any way you want. You'll have a square piece of linen and fabric to work with. And then all you have to do is do your cross hatching. When I did mine, I cross hatched the center and then did straight lines on the outside, but you could certainly cross stitch the whole thing, cross hatch rather. And there you go. And then all the other steps are exactly like the steps in making the bags. You just have you finished your front piece a little bit differently. So that's it. Tape it to your grid. Well, first of all, put your interfacing on. Tape it to your grid. Use your 2-inch strips or whatever you decide with a 1/4 inch ironed over. And square up your strips with your cutting mat and then top stitch. So that's it. Easy peasy. Have fun.